Hey, y'all, and welcome back to another episode of the No Rules, Just Vibes podcast. I'm your host, Maya and Jill, and thank you guys so much for tuning in another week. I have another special guest here this week with me. It's Shanta Bender, and y'all, she is amazing. She has an incredible ministry platform for women, and I thought I couldn't have anybody else on the show to talk about Christian dating with me other than her. So before we get into some things, I'm going to get her to just introduce herself to y'all and tell y'all a little bit more about what she does.
All right. So hello, everyone. I am Shanta Bender. I am the mother of one incredibly amazing daughter. She just turned 3. I am a social worker for the state of Alabama. I'm a photographer. So if you need photography, you can reach out to me. I'm also the founder of IMPACT Women. It's a women where I go out into the community to teach young women, Bible lessons. I also have a platform, on Facebook Live. It's every Wednesday, and it's called Women Witnessing Wednesday, where I just reach out to different women to invite them to speak, to witness for the Lord, and tell them about the goodness of Jesus and, all the things that he's done in their lives. And I think that is about it. I'm also a blogger, but I haven't blogged in a while, but it's the blog is called Understanding God's Grace. And so, that's basically about it.
Y'all, she's being super humble right now. Shanta literally does it all. She's a jack of all trades. So let's go ahead and get into it. I don't want to wait any longer. I need some advice. And I think a lot of my listeners need some advice.
What do you mean? I'm going to go.
So I guess just to start in general, what is your best piece of advice? Because I feel like you have a little bit of experience in this arena. What is your best piece of advice for Christian men and Christian women that are trying to maneuver this dating scene in their young adult season?
Well, first, I would say, if you're looking to date, I would definitely say take your time. Please take your time to get to know the man or the woman that you are interested in dating. I would definitely say that. Take your time. I always tell people I'd rather, take time than take no time at all,
Right.
because, and I'm speaking from experience there, because I done been married twice. So I won't even go into, the first marriage, met in October, got engaged in November, got married in December. I wouldn't do that again. And the last marriage, we started dating December of 2014, and then got engaged of July 2015, and then married in January 2016. So that was definitely longer than the first. So I always like to tell people to take your time, and get to know the person that you are interested in dating. Also, I'm sorry about that. Did it go out?
No, it came back. You're good. You're
good. Okay, it's probably going to do it again. The other thing is, I would also say never consider, dating an unbeliever. I would definitely say that. Never consider, dating an unbeliever. I would definitely say that. You must be equally yoked.
Right.
Okay. And if you are a Christian, because you did ask me about, Christian dating, right?
Right.
Okay. So definitely I would pray for a godly mate, somebody with some fruit of the spirit.
Period.
Notice I didn't say gifts of the spirit. I said, pray for somebody with some fruit. Okay.
I got you. So yeah. I guess, I feel like all of that kind of intertwines, because if you take the time to really, really get to know the person before you start dating them, then you will know, whether someone is an unbeliever or a believer. Because I think sometimes we may not necessarily ask those questions, or we assume things, or people, portray something initially, and then, on the flip side, you figure out that things probably not as, what they initially seem to be. Right. So I definitely agree that the time thing, and then fruits of the spirit. Yeah. I think,
definitely have some fruit.
Yeah, I think we kind of underestimate the power of literally just asking God specifically for what you want. And, making sure that you're asking for things that matter, especially when you're seeking marriage as the end game, things that are going to help you stay in a marriage, or just make things a little bit easier when you have a person that shares certain qualities for, when the good times happen and when the bad times happen. So I think I definitely agree with you there. Okay, so I guess kind of segueing into my next thing, how do you feel about, or just what do you think? Do you think Christians should date casually, or should they approach each situation with the intent of marriage? Because I think I've struggled there a little bit, and I think it's kind of, well, I'll get your opinion on it first before I share my experience.
Oh, you know what? Let me say this. I've never casually dated.
Okay.
Maybe, if and when I should start dating again, then maybe I'll consider that. Casually dating has always gotten a bad rep.
Right.
But I think that it's okay. I think it would be okay, if, as long as the people are not sexually immoral.
Right.
I think that, casually dating is okay. And I think it's also important to understand, why are we dating? What is our purpose for dating? A lot of people have to get an understanding. The Bible tells us, in all that get an understanding. So we have to get an understanding, from both parts, male and female, men and women, as to why are you dating? Why do you want to date? Because there's a difference between date and dating.
Yeah,
because some people can go on a date and all of a sudden they think that they're dating, and that may not be the case. And so for me, as I stated in the beginning, I've never casually dated. I always went from commitment to commitment, and so, just commitment. Boom, we out there on social media, and next thing you know, we're together. I'm like, hey, So, but like I said, I think to each their own. Each their own. If you want to casually date, I don't see anything wrong with it. Like I said, as long as everybody get an understanding, that hey, this is what we're going to do. Casually dating, I want to take my time, and I probably going to be dating other people, or going out on dates with other people, and so this is just a time for me to, see, if I'm interested in going on another date, so we can be dating.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. So I want to go back to what you said, because I feel that, especially now being 28 and I'm single and I haven't had a lot of experience dating, especially dating as an adult. I think my views of dating have just kind of changed over the years, and I think that's kind of why I've struggled in that area, especially as a Christian looking to date, because I totally agree with you. The casually dating thing has gotten a crazy bad rap, and I disagree with that now. Like I think a lot of the times people equate casually dating with sexual immorality.
Right. Absolutely.
And so I think once you just kind of figure that out, and you realize, okay, that's not the type of time I'm on, that's not what we're doing. It should be okay for you not to always put your eggs in one basket each time, and to really take some time to create friendships and date casually. We know no pressure, neither one of us are going in with the intent of, this is going to automatically be my husband. I think a lot of women do that, starting out, they go in and they already create this fantasy or potential in their mind of, okay, this is my husband. If he takes you on one good date, all of a sudden this is your husband. And it's like, no, like take some time to build a friendship and really get to know.
Right.
And even with guys, I think it's the same thing. I think it's more of a ownership thing. It's like, if you're dating me, then you can't be dating or doing anything else. But it's like, I think we all should be okay with getting to know people and like you said, it's a difference between going on dates and dating. And I think a lot of time I feel like we should be a little bit more open to getting to know people, figuring out if you're compatible with someone, getting to know, and not having to do that one at a time, and you're wasting 6, 7, 8 months on one person that you finally realize, like, okay, I don't see this going anywhere. This person is not ready for marriage. They're not ready for kids or X, Y, and Z. And it's like, that you shouldn't have that much pressure attached to the situation. And it's like, okay, let me
Mm-hmm.
just get to know a few people and maybe go
Mm-hmm.
hang out and things like
Mm-hmm.
that. And we don't have to always attach labels to everything.
Uh-huh.
And that doesn't necessarily mean that you're sleeping around either. So
Right.
I really like that you pointed that out. And
Mm-hmm.
I guess something else that you said, and I think that's interesting. That's
Oh
interesting when
Lord.
you said that you went from commitment to commitment and like the
Mm-hmm.
whole posting on social media thing. Do
Mm-hmm.
you think, I guess in your opinion, what is the good and bad of that? Or just what are the pros and cons on as you're, I guess you're in another dating season or single season now, what do you think is the pros and cons of just kind of going from commitment to slap out commitment?
Well, I think, the pros is that, hopefully both people should have an understanding, okay, like this is a commitment, and I think that the pros is that, first we need to make sure we have an understanding of what commitment means, because a lot of people don't, have an understanding of what commitment means.
Right,
And
right.
I think that when you have two believers, two Christians, and if they're in a committed relationship, I think they're both have the same mindset that the goal is, to be married. I think the cons is that, when we have agreed on, commitment, with the intent, the goal of marriage. And then I think the cons is that, when you start to see all those red flags.
Right.
And so it kind of goes back to the beginning of, like you said, to be friends, take your time getting to know, that other person before you get into the commitment. I think that when you go from commitment to commitment, I think you will have this that emotional hurt.
Yeah.
Whereas I think if you casually date, you probably won't get,
you can probably save yourself a little bit of heart pain, heartbroken.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But
so I think with the casual dating, I think you can prevent some of that emotional, hurt. But again, like I said, casual dating is not for everyone, because again, like I said, I've always been commitment, that ends. It's like, okay, little break, commitment again. So, but you live and you learn. You live and you learn.
Yeah.
And so I think the next time around I would get to learn the person before I say, you know what? Let me learn you before I commit to you.
Exactly.
Yeah, let me learn you, and I don't think we always have to go in asking all these questions, that's fine. You can, with me being a social worker, that's part of my job, is to ask, but also part of my job, is to assess and observe.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Because people can tell you anything. It's no different than like, we could tell somebody we're a believer, but what does our action show?
I like that.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, because especially like when you go on a first date with someone and you're getting to know them and you're asking all these questions, everybody's showing up as their best self. That's automatically. Everybody's going to always show up as their best self. So I think sometimes I like that. You do have to observe and assess because the actions will eventually show, if that person can say, I love giving gifts or whatever the case may be. And then, over a course of time, you see that person never, gives gifts or never wants to pay or just never wants to do anything. And so I think you do have to be a little bit more careful and a little bit more observant to pay attention to what is, are the person's actions aligning with what they've told you. So
right, because there's different times. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you good. Keep going.
No, I was just saying, because you definitely have to observe and assess, because again, I just remember, being with someone, being in a relationship with someone, and in the beginning stages, it appeared that this person was a family man, this person enjoyed going to church, this person, enjoyed, my love language, which was quality time. And then, next thing I know, after the marriage, it was like this person did a whole 360.
Right.
Like, what, you don't like going to church no more? You don't celebrate holidays no more?
Right. But That's interesting, though, because I think a lot of just listening to a lot of people that have been married or just divorced or whatever, I guess a little bit past that initial dating season, they will like warn you and tell you that be sure and take your time and try to
Mm-hmm.
see. I think it was Tyler Perry that said that you needed to see people in pretty much every season, or
Mm-hmm.
just every um when they're angry, when they're sad, when you're
Mm-hmm.
happy, or just in good
Mm-hmm.
times and bad times, and
Mm-hmm.
observe how they react in those situations
Right.
before
Mm-hmm.
you jump into a full-blown marriage with them.
Right.
And so I definitely agree that
Mm-hmm.
that you can, and you can never tell, because I want to, I guess on the flip side,
Mm-hmm.
things happen, and you go in with good intentions and things like that, and sometimes you just don't know. But I think to just kind of help lower that risk, you
Mm-hmm.
you should take some more time and just really really
Mm-hmm.
get to know the person. And so I guess my next thing, it kind of goes into what we're already talking about, is just be that equally yoked thing. So like
Mm-hmm.
how important do you think, and not necessarily in the sense of I'm a believer and this person's believer, not that, but in the sense
Mm-hmm.
of how important do you think it is to date someone that's near or on the same level as you spiritually? And for instance, I would say, just as an example, I'm a big fast and pray person. So
Okay.
I do 21 days of prayer and fasting at least twice a year. And then, if something is going on, or like a friend needs something, or we're, touching and agreeing on something, our first response is, okay, we're gonna fast today. We're gonna do this.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens, or just how important do you think it is to date someone who understands that, or either has some experience with it, versus someone who they love God and they go to church, but they've never they're just not at that spiritual level yet, maybe,
Mm-hmm.
but not necessarily saying that they're not opposed to it, they just don't really have a lot of experience with it. Do you think that that's a red flag, or do you think that's a thing where you and the person can grow as long as they're open to it?
I don't think I would necessarily call it a red flag. I do think that people can grow together. I think that some
Okay.
people, and they can, as long as they are teachable, I think that that is good as well. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think that if two people are trying to walk together, because the Bible says, how can two walk together unless they agree? I think that, two people do need to, agree. I don't think everybody's going to agree on everything,
Right.
but I think that, you should have an understanding, if we are going this way towards marriage. I think if you're considering marriage, then yeah, I think that it is important, to, because again, I don't think that two people are going to be always on the exact same level. Somebody's probably going to be a little bit more spiritually mature than you,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I mean, I think that it's okay. I think, you can grow together. I don't think I want nobody I have to teach, I don't think I want, you see somebody who's not in church and it's like, okay, so you don't go to church,
Right, right. Or either
and I
just
got to,
they can't understand why, if it's not Sunday and you're going to church to serve, or you're on some
mm-hmm,
type of you're volunteering, or you're a greeter or usher
mm-hmm,
at church, and you're having to go to church or just attend meetings that fall outside of Sunday. I think it may be, I guess, from experience, or just listening to other people's relationships, I think sometimes when one person doesn't understand that, it can kind of be a strain. Because if you're saying that, hey, you spending all this time at the church, or you doing this
mm-hmm,
and this and that, and it's like, I think you have to find that balance, because of course you don't want to neglect your home,
mm-hmm,
but at the same time, you don't want somebody that creates a situation or just an argument every time you're trying to do something that may not necessarily fall on like a
mm-hmm,
Sunday service type of thing.
mm-hmm.
So, um,
I think that I think it just kind of goes back to what I was saying about, getting an understanding, getting an
yeah.
understanding of, why does Maya, fast, why does Maya pray, especially if they don't do these things, why does
Mm-hmm.
she got to keep going to church, doing all this serving and stuff like that, and I don't think you want to be with somebody neither, who's going to be putting your, what you do down neither,
Right.
or either look down on you and, say negative things about, what you do. I don't think nobody would want that. Like, oh, you going to church again? Ugh, Bible study, you going to Sunday school too? I mean, yeah, yeah, yeah. You don't go to Sunday. You don't. So you definitely don't want nobody like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And uh, I mean, because there's sometimes I might miss a Sunday or two. But again, I'm not going to judge someone. If they, don't go every Sunday or something like that.
Right. Okay. So
So,
that's good to know. Like it goes both ways, because
mm-hmm.
you don't want to be the person that, can't miss a Sunday, or I'm going to be condemned by God,
Mm-hmm.
and you're with somebody who doesn't have that pressure, or just doesn't pressure themselves to, they're saved, they go to church. But if they're just tired or not feeling good, they miss a Sunday, and you don't
Right.
want to have somebody that's going to make you feel like, everything that you've done in God's eyes, that's good, and He's pleased with you, and that you give your time, you do what you're supposed to do, you're saved.
Mm-hmm.
Everything doesn't go out the window just because
Mm-hmm.
I missed the Sunday. So I think that it does go both ways. It can be extreme on both sides. So
look, have you ever seen the movie? You know what? You just made me think about this movie. It's an old movie. It's probably 2013 film. It's I think I'm in Love with a Church Girl by Ja Rule.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so if you notice that in that movie, Ja Rule, he wasn't saved, and the girlfriend that he happened to fall in love with, she was, saved or whatever. And it's like he wasn't on her level.
Right.
It's almost like she had to bring him up.
Right.
But in the end, they came together. And in the end, as you remember, he got saved, and he was going to church, but he was teachable. He was wanting to learn and want to do those things. In the beginning, it probably was looking like, okay, is he doing this just for me?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But of course, in the end, he ended up getting saved, and I guess they were equally yoked in. Then they ended up having a family and all that good stuff. So I mean, some good can come out of things.
Yeah. Spoiler alert, y'all. So if you haven't seen In Love with a Church Girl yet, y'all come.
Yeah. But you don't want nobody that's going to be like, throwing that I'm more spiritual than you, card in your face. You don't want nobody like that neither.
Yeah. So
that would be a red flag.
I think that's good, because it can be extreme on both sides. So I guess okay, one of my last things, and I think I want to get your opinion on this in the age of social media. Like, so we're in a different, especially when it comes to dating, like the scene is completely different. Like people are sliding in DMs. So online dating is not as taboo as it was, because I think when online dating, like the initial just kind of concept of it was online dating sites, but a lot of people are meeting through social media. And not that online dating is not a social media, but we think of it a little bit different than like a eHarmony, or like a Hinge, or Tinder or Bumble, just kind of some of the sites out there. We look at that different in comparison to like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, things like that. And so what's your viewpoint? Just how do you feel about online dating, or just meeting someone online? Because I think sometimes as Christians, we are a little bit unrealistic, and we make it seem like you need to be meeting your person in church, or and I'm not talking about like another Christian. I'm talking about literally like you guys cross paths in church. And so how do you feel about online dating? Because I think sometimes, people be in the DMs, and I'm not trying to miss my blessing. So I guess what's your viewpoint on like just the online dating scene, or just, as a Christian, these are just like Christian lenses when we're talking about these things. How do you feel about it?
Well, for me, I guess I'm old fashioned. I'd rather meet, I prefer to meet, have that in person, face to face encounter. I've never been on the online dating sites. I'll say that,
Okay.
I guess I never done that. And I'm not saying anything, about them, because people have met on there and had, some successful romance stories. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But for me, I just never, created an account, and if you find one, it ain't me. But I just never had one of those Christian mingle, black people meet, you know, things that like you was talking about Tinder and Bumblebee or whoever it is. You know, I mean, but again, I mean, going back to the DMs though, you know, there have been, you know, because the guy that I was dating, we started talking because of DMs.
Okay.
Yeah. But I think, you know, sometimes I wonder, you know, why, you know, some people get on the dating site, you know, is it because they're introvert, you know?
Yeah.
Is it because they, you know, I don't know. I mean, it's just, you know, I don't know. I prefer me be out, you know, like I have long time ago where I'm at the car wash and somebody, you know, walk up to me and, you know, speak, or in the mall, or, you know, as long as they ain't trying to holler at everybody and their mama.
Right. So I guess I agree. I would prefer to meet someone in person. But I do think I have created profiles on dating sites, but
there's nothing wrong with
no, like I think it's cool. I don't feel away or anything about it. But I never stay on them just because like I think I'll go on there just to be nosy and just to, you know, just see like who would be interested in me. And it's always out of boredom for some reason. But I always like after a week or two, I don't really talk to people on there. I'll delete my account. And so I do think I'm like you. I'll prefer to meet someone in person. However, I have made a dating account or profile, but I don't really take it seriously.
why?
Why?
Yeah, why do you create them and you ain't gonna take it serious, man?
Because I think it's more so out of fear, because I think it's, for me, it's still a little bit taboo. It's like, girl, you don't know who you gonna meet on there. Like, just, you know, just like I said, it's out of boredom just to see what's out there, just options, or just, you know, just kind of like I don't know. It's literally like out of boredom. But as far as like taking it seriously and approaching it like, okay, I really want to meet somebody on here. No, it's like I still differentiate between online dating and like social media. I don't know why. I don't think I don't have a legit reason why, but I just do. And so I think there's still like I kind of associate the online dating thing with like all of the horror story Lifetime movies that like Craigslist, and I'll just
I was just about to say that, like the Craigslist killer.
Right.
Woo!
And so as far as like the social media thing, I do think I am a little bit more relaxed at the you know, the DMs, and just people may or just someone seeing you somewhere and then finding you on social media and saying, hey, I saw you at XYZ. Whether y'all were already friends or not, but just, you know, having a little bit more confidence to DM you versus, you know, I didn't want to bother you while you were out or whatever, but you know, just kind of hopped in the DMs. I'm a little bit more open to that. But I do think that well, I guess, do you think that's an age or generational thing, or do you think that's just kind of a just, you know, I just more of a personal preference, I guess?
I think it's a mixture of all three.
Okay.
Yeah, age, generational, and what was the last one?
Personal preference.
Yeah, personal preference. I think it's a mixture of all three. And let me say this, because I think I'm thinking with dating websites, I don't think you probably get to put all the information like you would on Facebook and Instagram, things like that. You know what I'm saying? So I think, you know, with let's just take Facebook. I think that, you know, somebody can already get to know you, you know, by just your social media page. You know what I'm saying? They'll know, like, so it just take if somebody looked at my social media page, they would already know, okay, she got a daughter. Daughter just turned 3. I ain't got to ask her too much about her daughter because I already know her name's Shelby. You see what I'm saying? I looked through her pictures. I can tell she's been married before. If she says she divorced, you know, maybe that's something I can ask, you know, get from her. Oh, she go to this church, you know, or and so it's like, and it's almost like it goes past the getting to know you phase, because it's like they get to know you by looking and find out information from your social media page, you know. So I don't know too much about the dating sites, but I'm assuming that you probably don't get it. You probably won't have as much information on there as you would on social media. You see what I'm saying? Yeah,
no, that's true. You're right, because especially now, I think a lot of people overshare, and that's not in a bad way, but we share more than necessary sometimes.
Yeah.
And so I do think it makes people me too. Look, I'll be the first to say it, but I do think it
Yeah.
makes it a little bit more comfortable or just not as taboo.
Mm-hmm.
Versus when you're meeting someone online, because the dating profiles and accounts, they're not as extensive as what you would see on someone's social media. And a lot
Mm-hmm.
of the times people will see someone that they may be interested in just like visually on a dating site and then go find their social media and then
Uh-huh.
go look and see, just to kind of figure out a little bit more about that
Mm-hmm.
person. So that makes
Mm-hmm.
sense too. But yeah, you're right. I think I didn't even think about that. Yeah. So yeah, I think you get more of a full picture of someone's social media account versus the online dating thing. But
Mm-hmm.
okay. So
Yeah. Yeah. So
I definitely agree.
good.
But okay, I think that's a great place to stop. I think we covered a lot, and I feel a little bit better about my dating season, because I said that this year I wanted to be a little bit more be a little bit more open to dating, because I feel like for me it's always been like okay, this is the next thing you need to do for your career,
Mm-hmm.
this is the next goal you need to accomplish. And so I
Mm-hmm.
really haven't put a lot of effort or just pay attention to the dating scene. And then especially as a Christian,
Mm-hmm.
I think when you start talking about dating, the response is usually always, girl, just wait, gotta send somebody, just wait. And there's
Mm-hmm.
nothing wrong with that, and I agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't mean, sitting in your room all day, not doing anything, not
Right.
no
Yeah.
human interaction, or just being a young single woman or man.
Right.
I think you can put yourself out there a little bit more and take a more proactive approach to dating.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely think the advice helped me
Uh-huh.
feel a little bit more comfortable just
Mm-hmm.
about how to do it, and just
Uh-huh.
being more open about it, and some qualities that I should look for when I'm going out today, or just that men should look for when they're looking for
Mm-hmm.
a certain type of woman that they want to date. So
Mm-hmm.
I definitely appreciate that from you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But okay, before we go, I always give my guests just like a 1-2 minute like little snippet, just to leave something positive or motivational or inspirational to the listeners. And it doesn't have to be about what we talked
Mm.
about today, but just something that you would like to share as we head out.
Well, since we were talking about Christian dating and stuff like that, I definitely just want to leave the viewers and the watchers, the listeners, to just say, just pray for wisdom. The Bible tells us, if you lack wisdom, ask God, about this person. You can ask him before you even go out with that person.
Right.
Before you even DM me or you or whatever, because we haven't to DM nobody. But yeah,
Right.
so for y'all men, pray before you, inbox, so you be wasting nobody's time, so nobody's time will be wasted. Just pray for guidance, and, guard your heart.
I like that.
Guard your heart. The Bible definitely tells us to guard our heart, and also prepare yourself, especially if you want to be if you want to be a husband, and women, we want to be wives. If that's our desires, God will give us the desires of our heart, but if that's our desires, let's prepare, to become those things, become who you want to marry, study Ephesians, men and
I
women,
like that.
yeah, so yeah, pray, become who you would want to marry. Yeah,
Oh, I like
definitely
that.
do that.
I like
Yeah,
that. And
yeah, becoming.
right.
Mm-hmm.
And I like
Mm-hmm.
especially that when you said prepare husband or men and women, I like that, because I think a lot of the time the message is always geared toward women. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's
Oh,
not
men need to prepare themselves too.
right.
That's probably why a lot of relationships are failing. That's why a lot of marriages are failing, And I'm not saying, you can't grow. We all can grow. But again, let's take some time out to prepare ourselves. Let's prepare ourselves, to become first, be whole, because now, it's like, okay, we attract, who we are.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So
And
if you want a whole person, be a whole person. If you want a godly person, be a godly person. If you want a spiritually mature person, be spiritually mature yourself. If you want to be a husband, prepare yourself to be a husband. Want to be a wife, prepare to be a wife. And so, yeah,
Y'all
So,
heard that? Did y'all hear
yeah.
that? Those
Preparation is key.
Did y'all
Preparation
hear that
is key.
wisdom? Period. Period. I love it.
Period.
That's what I'm talking about. Uh,
Yeah.
okay, y'all. Thank you, Shantae.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Yes, I loved having you on this episode. Like I said, y'all, this is a blessing to have guests like her on the show. To just give y'all some knowledge, wisdom, advice, and things like that. But yeah, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. And thank y'all, my No Rules Just Vibes listeners, for tuning into another week. I will see you guys next week. And I hope y'all are having an amazing February. We're in the second month this year, and I just want us to stay strong, committed, consistent, and just 2021 is ours. I know a lot of us had a rough 2020, but we're not letting that stop us. We're going to approach 2021 differently and with confidence and with just manifesting new opportunities. So y'all know I can ramble, but I'm gonna stop here. But I love y'all. Thank y'all so much, and I will see y'all next week.